All right, so Jordan Fengel, City of Georgetown. So City of Georgetown, albeit, is a very conservative, locally area town here, right up north of Austin, south of us, obviously. But we're known for some innovative and progressive style thinking, outside the box, kind of. So we're the first city in the state of Texas and the second city in this whole United States to have 100% renewable energy. I know we're not here to talk about energy, but in addition to our 100% renewable energy, we also have what's called Sun City, Texas. And I don't know if anyone's familiar with Sun Cities, but they're in Florida and California and here in Texas as well, and they're 55 and over retirement communities. So our Sun City comprises about 1/3 of our whole population, and we're a population of about 60,000. So we have around 20,000 people that are 55 and older living in Georgetown. So where I saw the opportunity for what we were going to do is that the fact that I went to a couple of our Sun City DEA drug take-back events. So we participated in them regularly with our police department, and what we saw were the totals coming out of Sun City. So you can see the April 2016, over 1,000 pounds, October 2016, 900 pounds, and then by comparison we have the local regional cities. Cedar Park, Round Rock, Taylor, Liberty Hill, and then we even had a location at our sheriff office in downtown Georgetown. So we actually collected outside of Sun City as well in our city to afford the opportunity to all of our constituents. But it was interesting that Sun City, being 1/3 of our population, collected regularly 900 to 1,000 pounds, considering, again, that's around 20,000 people. Look at Round Rock, for example. That's a city of 122,000 people, and their event, 600, 700 pounds. Big comparison, big difference. So that's where I saw this opportunity was, A, we have a lot of prescriptions, and we have a big need. So there's no surprise that the fact that these medications were coming in such a large total, because there's a well-known fact that people 55 and over take an average of 5 scripts per year. So something to note demographically, if you're planning to do a kiosk, look at where you have people in your town, because certain age groups obviously are going to input more drugs. So continuing the city's trend of thinking outside the box, and our local CAPCOG solid waste grants were coming up, but our priority for our capital area council of governments here was household hazardous waste. So I thought, how am I going to be able to attach pharmaceuticals to HHW, paints, pesticides, and all that? But if you really think about it, pharmaceuticals have the same dangers that HHW does. We don't want the stuff down the sink, we don't want it flushed, and we don't really want it in our garbage. So therefore, I kind of detached it, well, it can be considered an HHW. Yeah, why not? So I applied for, and we are actually awarded the first CAPCOG grant to manage pharmaceuticals from the public, including controlled substances, using a Sharps compliance kiosk. And what I was really excited to see was our instant reduction. So if you can check out the October 2016 collection event in Sun City, 924 pounds. I opened the kiosk the next Friday after that collection event for a very specific reason. I wanted them to empty out their drawers and then see what we could get next. So in April, this very last collection event, we collected 400 pounds out there. Very dramatic drop if you look across the line at Sun City with no kiosk, and then the kiosk was implemented. It's a major reduction of over 500 pounds of pills did not come in. And I can directly attribute that to that kiosk being there. So there's some keys to success, and we had to undertake a few steps in order to get a program together to apply for a grant. And so first off, I met with our Council of Governments at least 3 times, because A, it was a new idea, their priority was HHW, so where am I coming from? I didn't want to just come out of left field and hit them just blind. So met with them multiple times, introduced the idea, they bought into it, they thought it was great. Then, our city, like most cities, we run off of a city council, right? So council has to agree on everything we do and give us permission to go seek our grants. But that's a big win if you think about it, because our support comes from the top down. So if our city council says go for it and do it, it's alive and it's viable. And that's a big win, honestly. I mean, if you can't have support from the top, no program's gonna succeed. But in order to get to council, I had to get support from all of the other departments that are involved in the city. And that's not just my environmental services department. It's the police department. It was our facilities department, our customer care who takes the phone calls, our warehouse staff who has to receive the liners. It was our facilities crew that had to implement the box in there. And then it was our volunteers that were at the place that had to also take consumer questions and different things. So there were multiple stakeholders that we had to get buy-in from. So, got buy-in from them, they thought it was a great idea, and our police department, of course, was readily on board because they knew the former process. And that's actually why we never participated in having a kiosk, because it was so cumbersome. You don't want to have 2 police officers have to come off duty or be on duty, follow your drugs all the way up to some incineration thing, watch the incineration, and then come all the way back down. It's a complete waste of their time and their money and their opinion, so A, they don't participate. Not even A, it's just A through Z, they just don't participate. However, once I explained what we did, they bought it easily. So we built the case, we put it all together, we sold it to the Solid Waste Advisory Committee for the Council of Governments, and then we were awarded about $7,400 was our grant. And it was kind of a ballpark. We actually asked for 10, and at the very end they were like, will you cut some money off to take it? I'm like, yes, of course, I'll take anything that we can get. So we got $7,400, and that was to get the kiosk, 2 years worth of liners, and some advertisement, and do the installation as well. We had a little hiccup during this rollout of our kiosk in that the DOT special permits were issued right when we were getting ready to kick this thing off. And so we went around and around with our vendor and with the DOT and the DEA, and we finally all got it worked out, but we operate under DOT special permit 20284, and that's through Sharps compliance, and it's posted on our kiosk at our happy police officer location there. But once after the DOT issue was resolved, it went flawless. And basically our outreach consisted of running some advertisements in 2 different papers locally. We did bill inserts to about 40,000 utility customers. And then we did 2 in-house videos that were run at our local theater and on our public information channel that we have. And then, of course, plenty of social media, because that's what everyone's literally attached to. And I totally miss pushing these whole things through. But yes, so you got to get your stakeholders, you have to get city council, you got to obtain your grant, then you create everything, and then you implement it. So that's basically your key to success, is going from the top and working your way all the way down. And what we did is, does that work like that? Anyways, so we created a couple of in-house videos, and it was a PSA showing that pharmaceuticals are not removed from public waterways by our wastewater treatment plants. A lot of people don't know that one pure fact. And so that's how you can attach a value, because there are a lot of people, regardless of their political affiliation or any kind of lifestyle, like the outdoors. Whether they fish, they swim, they hike, they recreate, anything. It's an attachment to their value system. And so our video basically said, hey, you may be thinking this is a great thing, dumping it in there because the wastewater treatment plant will get rid of it, but it doesn't. And we used video of our streams and our people, and the water flowing from the wastewater treatment plant back into the creeks. And it's like, well, think again, because the pharmaceuticals don't get cleaned, and they actually go back into our waterways and they affect you. So that's another way to get that message kind of to the people that aren't able to see an addiction problem. So the results so far are exceeding our industry standards, and demographics, again, are got to be noted when you're looking at placing a kiosk. And our program is simple to operate. Our police chief said, evidence tech guy, you're going to take care of it. We trained a few extra officers, and basically we have a liner going out every single week right now, on average, and it has not stopped. And so we've completely expended our grant monies, and we've gone through some little bit of issues, but we're continuing our funding. But how it really works in our kiosk is when it fills up, UPS is called, and they're very responsive, and they come and they grab the box from our police department, and it gets shipped off via UPS. So it's again a turnkey operation basically that really makes it easy to get rid of drugs from the public. And so from all of this success, which is these are our collection charts from our Sharp Tracer, and you can see our average, we're well over 1,000 pounds since October's implementation of the kiosk. But this success has actually brought on a new discussion with our Council of Governments and our City Council, in that they want to do a public-private partnership with our local pharmacy. So we started those discussions. The local pharmacy is on board, and in fact, they're so excited about it that if this works, they are going to expand it on their own dime to the other 5 pharmacies that they have in the area. So that's a big, big win. Public-private partnerships. quickly, I'll go over what we're considering for the future. So we can continue this voluntary thing. It's paid by our tax dollars, and we can continue these public-private partnerships. That's definitely an option. Look at extended producer responsibility, which we're going to go into more, obviously, and that's funded by the manufacturers. And then there's another option out there that we're kind of talking with our COG is the CAPCOG has what's called a regional environmental task force, so it's funded by the COG, and there's an idea, maybe they fund pharmaceuticals as a regional COG effort. That is the end of my presentation, and I hope you enjoyed it.